Countries and regions are artificial boundaries which are created for different purposes. The people should matter more than anything else, but not in Nigeria's case. The question we should be asking is, are the people being joined together compatible? If not, then it makes sense that they should be separated. Nigeria, for one, was created by the British for their own purposes without any consideration to the people. And by all indications, in many ways, it's not working. Now, it would be really nice to say, yeah, if we could stay together peacefully, but from the look of things, that's not happening because some people want to be lord and master over others. And the way I see it, the more Sharia compliant states should be on their own since they share common interests. That's the first step. And then after that, the rest should just go figure out whether they want to stay together or if they're not, they don't. Now, the Southwest wants to go on their own, they can have theirs. The South, the same thing. The Middle Belt also. It should be something that everyone is comfortable with and nobody is being forced to. And anyone who tries to force another region to go with them is in fact committing a crime against humanity. Now, I'm saying this because I see a lot of debates during which there's another debate going on inside the main debate, which is, where do you draw the line? Which region goes with which region? Like, for instance, the Middle Belt, aka Central Nigeria. If we're going to be honest, it's not really the North. The people are different in terms of ethnicity, not Hausa, not Fulani, and if we're going to go back further, they are not Afro-Asiatic, but rather they come from the Congo Nile tribes of Africa by ancestry. That aside, they're mostly Christian. There are Muslims among them, but majority of them are Christian, unlike the North, which is majority Muslim. And that's another bone of contention. So they do have some differences. It's not that it's not impossible to coexist, but really it's not working. And I stated why earlier in this video. So why try to force your will on others? I see a lot of that. People say, your middle belt is the North, nothing like middle belt. What do you mean nothing like middle belt? Were we together before the British sat down and carved out this territory and called it Nigeria? We were not. So let's go back to the way we were before. Now, another place where you see this argument is from the Biafrans. They say the South, in fact, they refer to it as Igbo speaking. South is part of Biafra. Obviously, there's some interest here. There's oil there. So it would be it's very easy to say they want the oil. But then you see, the same oppression that you say that's being dished out to you, it's the same thing you're trying to serve others. So in the event of any breakup, why do you want to do unto others do something to other people that you don't want to be done to you? You're here complaining that you've been forced to be part of a forced marriage, but yet you want to forcefully marry someone else. Make that make sense. How does that make any sense, my people? How? Everyone has a right to self-determination. Now, if you're complaining that you've been denied that right, you shouldn't deny the next person that right as well. And as for the Northerners, if we're going to be part of you, it should be out of a sense of camaraderie and love, not bitterness and hatred like what I'm seeing now, not out of a conquering mentality I am your Lord and Master. You're not my Lord, you're not my Master. And you know what? You don't even have the biggest guns. Because quite frankly, you're at most a spoiled child. It's like, have you ever grown up around some kids who maybe they're always rude to people at home, and when they do it, the mother or the father defends them, and then they start to think that they can get away with it, and then one day they leave the house and they try that nonsense somewhere and they get the smackdown. That's what's happening with this group of nomads that wants to take over this entity called Nigeria. You guys have been spoiled by the federal government. You've been treated with kid gloves. You've been spoiled. You've been given advantages over other people. You're allowed to carry weapons, but the minute somebody else tries it, they're in jail. You could be in jail for just talking against it. Ask Namdi Kanu. But Bello Turji, hey, he's balling. So you see, you're a local champion because of political backing, which you have only here, and this is where it ends. But now the big boys have entered the game, and you no longer have your way. Unfortunately for you, unfortunately for us, the game was about to change.